Then she turned to the man standing beside her. "James," she said it quietly, "give Mr. Moss the letter." Her attorney James Ockhaffer reached into his briefcase, pulled out an envelope, held it out. "What is this?" Moss did not take it. "It's a letter," James said. "I'd recommend reading it." Moss grabbed it, tore it open, pulled out the single page inside, read the first line, then read it again. Then looked up at Camille. What is this?" "It's a notice of ownership transfer." Camille's voice did not change. "The Grand Alderton Hotel and all associated properties transferred to Reed Capital Group 14 days ago. You've been managing my hotel for 2 weeks, Mr. Moss." The check-in line had not moved. The concierge behind the desk was very still. A woman near the fireplace had her phone up. Then another. Then a man by the window. "And what's in there?" Moss pointed at the folder. "The one you came in here waving around like you own the place." "I do own the place. And what's in the folder is the reason we're having this conversation in the lobby instead of upstairs." James opened the folder, placed a document on the check-in desk between them. Moss looked at it. 14 months of financial records, bar receipts, room service invoices, event billing statements, and beside each one a column of numbers that did not match the hotel's official accounting system. The difference between those two columns was $217,000. $217,000 that had moved from the Grand Alderton's operating accounts into a private account, registered to a company called Alderton Management Solutions, LLC. Alderton Management Solutions, LLC was registered to Derek Moss. "I can explain." "Derek," she said it the way you say a name when the explanation no longer matters. "You've been embezzling from this hotel for 14 months. My forensic accounting team documented every transaction. The documentation has already been submitted to the Dallas Police Department's Financial Crimes Unit and the Texas Attorney General's office. A detective will be contacting you by end of day." The lobby was completely silent. "Do you know who I know in this city?" Moss's voice was finding something now. Anger wearing fear's clothes. "Do you know what I can?" James put a hand on Moss's arm, quietly, the specific touch of an ending. "Mr. Moss, I'd strongly advise you to stop talking." Moss looked at James's hand, then at Camille, then at the lobby. 50 people watching him. 3 with phones up. 14 years. He had run this hotel for 14 years, had shaken the hands of every mayor, had seated senators at the restaurant, had managed 4 renovation projects and 2 ownership transitions. "You're terminated." Camille said it simply, effective right now. "Building security will escort you to collect your personal items. You have 20 minutes. She turned to the security guard at the edge of the lobby. "Please escort Mr. Moss to his office and then to the exit." "Yes, ma'am." Moss looked at the security guard, then at the lobby. Then he picked up the letter from the desk, folded it, put it in his jacket pocket, and walked toward the elevator. Nobody spoke while he crossed the floor. The elevator opened. He stepped in. The doors closed. The lobby exhaled. Camille turned to James. "Please call Sandra. Tell her we're ready to proceed with the management transition." "Already done." She looked around the lobby, 50 people still watching, some still with phones up, the concierge finally moving again. She walked to the check-in desk. The concierge looked at her. Name tag said PRIYA, 20-something, the specific expression of someone trying to understand where they stand. "Priya, how long have you worked here?" 8 months. "Do you like it?" "I like the guests and Chef Ramon in the kitchen." She glanced toward the elevator. "The management has been complicated." Priya almost smiled. "Yes, ma'am. That's going to change, starting today." Camille picked up her room key from the desk, the one she had come down to collect when Derek Moss had appeared and made his decision. She walked to the elevator, pressed the button. The doors opened. She stepped in. 20 years ago, she had walked through those same front doors for the first time. 24 years old, fresh out of her MBA program at UT Austin. She had just closed her first real estate deal, a duplex in Oak Cliff, small but real. She had come to the Grand Alderton to celebrate, by herself, because there was nobody else yet. She had made a reservation 3 days in advance. asked for a room with a view of downtown Dallas, walked through the front doors in her best dress with her confirmation email on her phone. The manager on duty had looked at her confirmation, then at her, then told her there was no reservation under her name, that the hotel was fully booked, that he was very sorry. She had shown him the email, the confirmation number, the charge on her card. He had looked at it, then told her the system must have made an error, that perhaps she would like to try one of the other hotels in the area. She had stood at that desk for a moment, then picked up her bag, walked back through the front doors, got in her car, driven to a Holiday Inn on Central Expressway, sat on the edge of the bed, looked at the Dallas skyline through a window that was not the one she had wanted, and decided something. Not in anger, not crying, just deciding. She had bought her first commercial property 6 months later, a small office building in Uptown, then a retail strip in Plano, then a mixed-use development in Bishop Arts, then larger, a portfolio of 12 properties across DFW, then a real estate investment trust, then Texas, then national. She had driven past the Grand Alderton 400 times in 20 years. She had bought it 14 days ago, through Reed Capital Group, quietly, the way she did everything. She had not told the staff, not the press, not anyone. She had come to collect her key this morning, her first time through those doors in 20 years. And Derek Moss had made his decision. The elevator reached the 31st floor, the penthouse. She opened the door, floor-to-ceiling windows. Dallas spread out below, the skyline she had looked at from a Holiday Inn 20 years ago, and made a decision. She stood at the window. Then she called Sandra. "We're ready," she said. "Bring the team in." Sandra's team arrived at 1 p.m. 8 people, operations, HR, finance, legal. They came through the front door and went directly to the management offices and began the transition Camille had been planning for 4 months. By 3 p.m., a new interim general manager had been installed, Patricia Chen, Reed Capital's Austin property for 3 years, waiting for this call since October. By 5 p.m., every staff member had received an email from Camille directly, not through HR, not through a memo, from her personal address. It said, "My name is Camille Reed. I am the new owner of the Grand Alderton Hotel. I want you to know that the conduct you witnessed this morning is not the standard to which I hold this property or its leadership. This hotel exists because of the work you do every day. I look forward to meeting each of you personally over the coming weeks. My door is open. Camille Reed." Priya at the concierge desk read the email 3 times, then went back to work, the specific focused work of someone who has just decided to stay. Chef Ramon in the kitchen read it once, set his phone down, went back to his prep. He had been planning to resign on Friday. He did not resign on Friday. Derek Moss was contacted by Dallas PD Financial Crimes Unit at 4:47 p.m. Charged 6 weeks later. Embezzlement, $217,000. He served 16 months. The Grand Alderton Hotel under Reed Capital Group became the top-rated luxury hotel in Dallas within 18 months. 4.9 stars. Best hotel in Texas, 2 years running according to Texas Monthly. Camille came to the property once a month, always stayed in the penthouse, always had breakfast in the restaurant, always walked the floor, talked to staff, sat in the lobby and watched the guests come and go. On her 3rd visit, she sat with Priya at the concierge desk for 20 minutes, asked her what she needed, what the guests needed, what the hotel needed. Priya told her everything, 3 pages of notes. Camille implemented every single suggestion within 60 days. Priya was promoted to guest experience manager 14 months after Camille walked through the front door for the 2nd time in 20 years. On the day of her promotion, Priya sent Camille one text. "Thank you for coming back." Camille read it in her car outside a property in Fort Worth, read it twice, smiled once, put her phone in her bag, drove to her next meeting. Some things you build because of the money. Some things you build because 20 years ago you stood at a desk in your best dress with a confirmation email on your phone, and a man looked at you and made a decision. And you decided something too. And you never forgot it. And you never stopped building until the day you came back through those doors and collected your key. If this story hit you, share it with someone who is still building towards something. Subscribe for more stories about people who never forget and never stop. And drop a comment. Tell me about a door that was closed on you that you went back and opened yourself. First person to comment gets pinned.